Hi everyone, it is Tara coming to you from my home kitchen. I really miss Cookbook Book Club, and so I thought I'd talk about a cookbook that I just made a really major recipe from. So, made this delicious, very, very fancy, very tall cake. Um, it, oh, Sorry. Before I get to the book and everything, I'd like to first acknowledge that the land I am on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Anishinaabe, Métis, and Oceti-Sakowin, and is Treaty 2 land. Okay, so the book is Jenna Cakes and Sweet Treats. Oh, it went really dark there. There we go. um, Jenna Cakes is actually out of Winnipeg. I did not realize that until a past student of mine, I was telling her about the cookbook and showed it to her, and she's like, well, they're out of Winnipeg. So I swooped up the book and decided that I'd make some items from it. So I've made two recipes from it. First one I made was a carrot cake cupcake for my husband's birthday. It went fairly well. He loves carrot cake. I like it. It's all right. But I'll save that review for a different day, maybe. So this one is a cookie dough cake that took me 2 days to make. Now it does say in here that you should bake the cake the day before, put it in the fridge overnight, ideally to let it cool really good so that it's easier to ice. So I knew that it was going to take 2 days, but it was a lot. It was a lot of steps. There's baking the cake. Then there's making the, what is it called? What is it called? I can't even remember. Now. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Okay. It's when you do sugar and water together and then you spread it on stuff. It's sugar water. And there's a specific name for it, and I will remember it after I'm done shooting the video. Anyway, so I had to make this because you've got to wipe it on the different layers of the cake. Bake the cake. Now this, I went out and bought special pans because all the cakes in here are 6-inch pans. They're tiny. They're tiny, but it makes for a very tall cake, which is another part of the challenge because I do have a lovely cake stand. It comes with a lid. The lid is way shorter than this cake, so it cannot be under the nice glass lid that it came with. Another thing I realized is I don't own a cake spinning decorating tray on my wish list, as well as a lot of other tools that would be handy for making this fancy of a cake. But it had a lot of steps. So had to make this, had to pre-cook flour to make the cookie dough. The cookie dough is amazing, and there's a strong possibility that I will unfortunately eat all of this. The recipe said I needed to make 2 batches of the cookie dough for this cake. I obviously did not use as much of the cookie dough in there as I was supposed to, because I didn't even use half of the cookie dough. So I'm guessing the in-between layers, I did not put as much as I was supposed to. I can't imagine it with more cookie dough in there, honestly, but I can't imagine eating all of that cookie dough, unfortunately. Also had to make a chocolate ganache. I've got all this left over. Also needed to make 2 batches of their very, very, very rich buttercream icing. As if you are a part of Cookbook Book Club here in Dauphin, I am definitely a baker. I love to bake. It makes me incredibly happy. I've spent years trying to figure out my own buttercream icing, and I've come up with one that I really like. This one was a lot more butter than I've ever seen in any recipe, which makes it incredibly rich. It's basically eating slightly sugared butter as far as I was concerned. So the buttercream is not to my taste personally. This cake was a huge, huge amount of work. And you think making a cake that requires that much work, it will be the very, very best cake you've ever eaten. I honestly didn't really like it that much. This is what is left of my initial piece of cake. That is how thick of a piece that I took. And number one, it's very filling. The cake is very dense. It's kind of like a pound cake, whereas all the cakes I usually make are much fluffier. I'm not sure if that would hold up in a 6-inch pan because I've never done it before. I will be experimenting with that in the future. Yeah, I made it. My husband had a piece. He didn't finish it. He felt kind of ill afterwards, probably because of the rich content to it. I said, I think I'm going to give away most of the pieces. He said, go for it. He's like, I don't need another piece. My son was visiting and received a piece, and he did manage to eat it. He felt very full, maybe a little bit ill afterwards, because they had like a full size piece. I had a half, or maybe, I don't know. I don't even know if it was a half. They had at least twice as much as I did. So he did finish it off. He said he did not need any more to take home. Thank you, Mom. That was a little hard to hear. After spending that much time making it because he asked for it. Because he's the one that went through the cookbook and he picked out which cake that he thought would be most interesting. So he's the reason why I made it, and he didn't really like it that much. At least not enough to take another piece home. He did say, he's like, maybe in another 6 months to a year, he's like, you could make it again. He's like, but nobody needs that rich of a cake on a regular basis. So, anyway, I was talking about the cake. So the cake is kind of a pound cake, very dense. I think on its own, with a little bit of drizzle of a glaze. Oh, it's gone dark again. Oh, there we go. With a little bit of a glaze on top, just as one of the cakes, I think it would be to die for. Maybe some lemon in it, and then some like blueberries on top, or blueberries in the cake. I think it would be divine. But all together with that buttercream icing, it was just it was a lot. It was a lot. So I want to try more recipes from this book, but I'm not sure if I will ever again do at least their icing. I don't think I would ever do their icing again, at least not the regular buttercream. I haven't looked at the other icings. Maybe as for their cakes, I might try a couple more of their cakes. We'll see. I'm not sure what I'm doing with the rest of this cake. Although, okay, my husband did say the first day that he didn't need any more. Last night, he's like, I need a slice of cake. I'm like, you can't have a full slice. And he's like, yes, I can handle it. Argued with him that he wasn't getting a full slice. So I cut a slice in half. He ate that. He didn't feel overly stuffed and ill afterwards. So I'm thinking more like this slice, not so much like that slice. Although that is probably one of the biggest slices that was part of the cake. Yeah. It's also probably the most expensive cake I have ever made. I would say that the ingredient total for what I put into that cake was probably close to, if not over $50 worth of stuff that went in that. So time-wise, it took a crazy amount. Expense-wise, it is extreme. If you count going out and buying special 6-inch pans that are 3 inches deep, they have to be 3 inches deep, then that adds onto the cost as well. Along with the tools that are now on my wish list, that would definitely up the cost more. But let's pretend we all have all those things already. The cost of the cake is, I would say, preventative from making it. However, if you want to try out this cake, I would strongly suggest going to their shop in Winnipeg and maybe buying it. Maybe they've done something extra, or theirs just tastes better than mine does, or I don't know, maybe I don't know. Maybe they've got an extra bit of magic that they put into the cake. I would definitely try eating it there before making it myself again, I think. Because I went online and checked, and they're only charging $50 for the 6-inch cookie dough. And I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure that's what I spent making it. So might actually be cheaper to go to Winnipeg to buy their cake than make it at home. Anyway, I really miss you guys. I hope you enjoyed my review. Yeah, I'm kind of shocked. I really thought that I would love it, but I don't totally love it, but I don't totally hate it. I spent all day yesterday thinking about the different tastes in it and thinking I might want it, but once I was home, I didn't feel like putting that much butter back into my body. So, very rich, very, very rich. I think maybe if you had half the cake, half, but like that thin of a slice. So chop the sucker in half. I think maybe that might be the right amount of cake without starting to feel ill. It's just so rich. It's way richer than I can handle. And I like sweets. I do like sweets, but this one was too much for me. Anyway, almost knocked the fork off. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed. I miss Cookbook Book Club so much. I'm actually thinking that I might be brave enough to try doing a Zoom one if anybody might be interested. Um, yeah, let me know if you think that might be good. And we will see you around. Bye for now.